Now, for anybody that goes back into the 80s, it was such a wonderful time for motorcycling. Bikes were getting faster and bigger and heavier and more complicated by the minute. But one bike I think stood out among all the other ones was the GS1100E. And that bike, many people used to call it the Beast. If you'd go to the drag races, they'd be the ones that Kawasaki and Suzuki always duking it out, but they were a beast. On the street, comfortable, reliable, smooth. It was just, and there's just no other way that I think about looking back at those days. It was a beast in every way. And when I got mine, I got it brand new from Westwood Suzuki. I swore. It didn't take long, and I said, I'll never sell this bike. I may buy other bikes, I may have love affairs with other bikes, but the Beast had my heart right from the beginning. And I decided I would over-maintain it, take care of it, polish it, keep it in as nice condition as I could. I got a spare parts bike along the way. I've put on 80,000 miles on this bike, and I still just love every day that I wake up in the morning and know I'm going to get to ride, have my cup of coffee, do all the chores I have to do around the farm, and no matter what time of year it is, look at the blue sky we have today. And get the Beast out of the garage all nice and polished up, fill up the gas tank, and have 200 miles of fun. It's kind of funny, 43 years ago when I first was riding this bike with my friends at the time, and they had the various bikes, and I decided this bike was the Beast. But I really didn't appreciate it until I spent a whole summer riding up to Lake George almost every other weekend, going on long trips when I was a lot younger and the bike was almost new. We just had rides, weekend rides, I can't even remember how much fun they were. Lake George was a prime place we liked to ride. We used to ride it up into New England all the time. Beautiful, beautiful roads. And this bike not only was a beast, but it was a comfortable beast. And that's one of the things that have, in my mind, have made me want to keep it in my collection forever. On my channel, I always get a lot of responses to any GS video. There's still so many people that remember the good times they had. Maybe some people like that they're sorry they sold it at the time, or there's actually been one person that said they got it back. They got their original bike back. I'll never forget that. Hey, congratulations. I'm glad I never sold it. I was tempted to. Actually, Andy Lee, a good friend of mine who in modeling, who wanted to buy it at one time, I was very close to selling it, and then I went for a ride. I came home and I said, I'll never sell it. It just captivates you. It's a very special piece of equipment. I always think to myself, Suzuki got a lot of things right back then. The bikes are easy to maintain. They have that wonderful low-end power that everybody seems to love. They're dead reliable. If you do even a minimum of maintenance, the things that are called for in a manual, even the valve adjustments are easy. There's no part of owning this bike that just gets to be what I call the stuff that's a deal breaker. It's a great bike. Now, I know some of my friends with GSs, like Joe Padula, prefer to keep a bike totally stock. I don't mind doing certain modifications to it, upgrading the brakes for one. making a change on the exhaust system to an 86 exhaust. And some people, of course, want to keep their bike totally stock, just like it has the original air in the tires when you bought it. I'm not a purist like that. I like to make improvements. The brakes were a big improvement. The EBC rotors were a big improvement. They're floating rotors. And it's a Dallas mod that I took seriously, as I put the spare front rotor from the front on the back, saves a few pounds. Anything you do to get rid of unsprung weight is in your favor. But of course, the biggest thing that makes this bike deserve the nickname of the Beast is that engine. And anybody that's ever ridden one, there's just something about that engine. The low end torque, the way it takes the gas, just the overall, it feels like a dinosaur, like a mule. I don't even know the right word. Like a beast, I guess is the right word. But it's got that feeling that you have a beast in your throttle hand. Anyway, that motor, the guys that went drag racing seriously, some of them did use a Kawasaki, but I think more use a Suzuki than the Kawasaki. But very few from that era used a Honda 6-cylinder to make a drag bike. Well, there's a lot of reasons. That engine is overbuilt. There's guys that have jacked, doubled, maybe even tripled the horsepower. I don't know. But it makes a great drag race engine. But not only that, I'm not into drag racing like Jim Skinner. It makes a great street engine, a fabulous street engine. Now, in my case, it's been 43 years, of course. I'm 79 years old and the bike has aged with me. It's gone from being a brand new bike and to where it's like a senior citizen bike now. But it still wants to get out on the open road, and anytime you don't have anybody in front of you, the first impulse you have is grab a handful of throttle. And it doesn't really even matter what gear you're in. It's just something about it. It's mesmerizing. People that have had them always remember that, and you remember it for the rest of your life. Now, I have really tried to over-maintain the bike. I've done extra oil changes, replaced tires long before they needed to be replaced, because I really treasure this bike. And I know the reality is they're getting harder and harder to find. Even if you want to buy a parts bike, getting harder and harder to find, but they are worth it. And I remember another thing that surprised me when I got the bike. The mileage was not bad. And the tank, it always had 200-mile range. It just made it so nice to get out far from the main roads. You didn't have to always be worrying, where's that gas station? Where's that gas station? It really was another thing Suzuki got right at the start. And for me, I've tried a lot of different brands of tires over that 43-year period. Michelin Commanders, one size oversized in the rear just for some ground clearance. Great choice. Now, in the course of this ride, I was thinking of Jim Skinner, and we were just up at his house, and he's got all the memorabilia from his drag racing career. But one thing he's got 3 GSs, and every night now I get a message or a call or a text. He's got more work done on this. This is when he originally got it. Since then, he's done a lot of work on it. We're going to see it in real life very soon. Our riding season is just about starting right now, but the best of it is coming soon, that's for sure. Now, this is an 83, and I know the blue one I think he has is an 83 also, because we were up at his shop when we went drag racing, And he's got a nice inventory of spare parts. And like everybody that has a GS, he's in love with the GSs. I don't know anybody with a GS that isn't in love with it. And that's part of the unique charm, the unique camaraderie that all of the GS1100 owners seem to have. I guess it's the reason we get so many good comments, nice comments on the videos. Anytime we post one, there's always people that say I have great memories. Boy, I have memories within memories. But the memories haven't ended yet. That's the whole thing. It's a sad thing when the memories are over, but it's a nice thing when you know there's still memories coming in the future. Now, I'm looking forward to a lot more years of riding my GS and a lot more years of sharing my rides on YouTube. So if you made it this far into the video, I'm assuming you have a love of 80s bikes, older bikes, and bikes that, no matter how you define them, when you ride them, they make you feel like you're riding a beast. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. And thanks everyone for watching.